This is the President McCormack Podcast with your host, Mark McCormack.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jake Waldram.
I'm here.
You are here. You're right there. Welcome, Jake.
Thanks, Mark. I'm excited to be here. First podcast ever.
I know, dude. I love that.
Yeah.
I've done that for a lot of dudes, right?
Yeah.
I never ask, obviously. I'm just like, hey, come down and podcast with me.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the podcast? Number one, let's give like a national review of this thing.
I like the podcast. I hope everybody leaves your review. You bring such an energy. I even said that in my review. You bring such an energy to it. Like and I think you get people in such a good space, like a good headspace to actually like be free and actually tell what they're actually saying and stuff. And that's kind of like your childlike energy anyways. But yeah, I think it's a different energy than a different podcast.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think once people kind of get into the vein of it, then they end up understanding like who I bring on and who I don't bring on.
Yeah.
It's a little bit funner to listen to.
Yeah.
Because we like to, the reality, I'm just bringing my friends on.
Yeah.
So.
And you want those guys to be genuine and you can tell, just like be vulnerable, be genuine. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'll probably knock out 200 guests probably before I start like bringing ones on that can make me famous or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah. How many guests do you have today?
So I normally do, when I record, I do 3.
Yeah.
Right. And then I release 2 a week.
Yeah.
Which is aggressive, man. It's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, you're going to be real close to my 100th one you might be the 100th.
That's what I was hoping and waiting. I wanted to be special. No one wants to be 98th, but I want to be 100th.
Dude,
yeah.
You're going to curse yourself with that. Maybe I'll just bump a couple.
Yeah, I'll be 98th now for sure.
Yeah. Be my 98 degrees. Which, if you guys don't know this, friends of the podcast, greatest boy band of the 90s.
98 degrees.
Do you think?
Oh, I'm an NSYNC guy.
Wow. Wow.
We're starting off early.
No, honestly, 98 Degrees isn't even close to the best boy band. Best boy band, Boys to Men.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, love Boys to Men.
Love Boys.
It's like one of my first albums ever.
And do we go to the end?
I'll make love to you.
We're bringing you the music today. No, dude, they were amazing, and they were most of the 90s. Yeah. I think the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were kind of late 90s.
They were like,
right?
like late 90s, 2000s. Yeah. That's even like 98 Degrees. And
had some bangers, though.
No,
There's some Backstreet Boys songs that'll never die.
Never.
I Want It That Way.
I Want It That Way is like...
It's a fan favorite.
Yeah. I think people that say they don't like that song are lying to themselves.
They are, dude. That's like that one that like when you're in the car by yourself, you're just like...
Yeah.
Wreck that thing up.
We with the kids, we still listen to a lot of boy bands. Like I said, that's the fun part. Yeah.
You know what I've introduced my kids to is Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Spice Girls are pretty cool.
They're great.
I liked them back then, and now my kids. It's kind of like, I don't know, fun party music.
Yeah, it is.
It's like tweener music, really.
And that's where it's all like they like it. It's get up and dance and like One Direction too, because my kids are obsessed with Harry Styles. But yeah, One Direction, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Spice Girls.
Yeah. Music used to be so awesome.
I'm to that phase too. Like I don't know if like you're at it, but it's like a lot of the new music. It's not like I don't like my old guy because I'm like, this is not as good as it used to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm a huge guy that likes bands.
Yeah.
A 4-band, right?
Yep.
You got a freaking singer, guitarist, a lead guitarist, bassist, and a drummer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, put a band out here.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they have that anymore. They really don't. Like new metal kind of came in and kind of like shook the game up, like Linkin Park, like a DJ and a rapper, which I love Linkin Park. I think they're great.
Yeah.
But where's this like a band? I think the last rock band that I think was like new and successful was probably 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah. And they're still going. I guess they're touring again.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Have you ever been to one of their shows?
I've been to 2 of them.
Yeah. Their shows are so good.
Yeah. They were, I went to the one, did you go to the one at Solitaire?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, the one at Solitaire was amazing.
We had the flag waving around and stuff. Yeah. I was there.
And that one band, God, what's that band that opened up for them? They had like one song that kind of like a emo.
I don't remember. I like bands too. Who's some of your favorite bands?
30 Seconds to Mars is actually one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
In the 90s, I really liked Smashing Pumpkins. I was a huge fan of. Actually, like, I don't know if they're a band, but I like Nine Inch Nails a lot. I like Tool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if is Nine Inch Nails a band?
They have to be, right? Yeah.
Well, Trent Reznor is kind of like plays all the instruments and he just brings dudes on tour. So he's a genius, though. I could go on and on and on.
That's like Jared Leto too, like same thing.
Yeah.
Like genius and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know this, I'm sure, about you, but like how good you are on the guitar.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a hard thing for me because I used to be really good.
Yeah.
And I don't want to Uncle Rico myself, but like, it's like with anything, right? Like when you practice for a long time, you just naturally get really, really good at it. So when I was in high school, I was probably practicing. I don't think I ever practiced less than 2 hours in a day.
Yeah. Okay.
Which looking back is insane. I don't know how the hell I had time to do anything.
Yeah.
I would normally get up in the morning and play for 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to the part where I was doing scales and just moving my fingers around the fretboard, just understanding it really, really well. And then at night, I'd come home and play again, but I'd play in the dark. So my little secret out there in the world is I used to play in the dark. So it helps you not have to look at the fretboard.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
2 hours a day?
Yeah. Oh, dude, there'd be days I'd play 4 or 5.
Wow.
So.
Still have calluses on your fingers?
Not as bad as I used to. Before, I mean, you could probably poke a knife in the end of my fingers and I would feel it. Now, I mean, nowadays I could probably play for like 40 minutes before they start to hurt, but
yeah, I want to learn an instrument. Like I love music. I'm just horrendous at all aspects
piano,
of it.
guitar, bro.
Yeah.
Those are the two to learn.
Yeah. Guitar, I think would be.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Come over and learn, man.
I know.
You've been in my house. I've got like 10 guitars. No, I've got like 6 guitars up on the wall.
Some of the kids can't touch some of them.
Oh, I know, dude. I'm like, hey, little guys, anything you want. You touch that Taylor Jumbo.
But just don't touch.
I will kill you.
Just don't touch that. Anything you want. Oh, I don't care. Yeah, throw a stand on that. Not that.
I will order you candy from DoorDash. Don't touch that guitar.
That was the funny thing too. Is like you could just feel like the energy. Like okay, yeah, Mark really doesn't want anybody to touch that one. I think playing guitar is such like an awesome skill.
That was one of that guitar. So it's a Taylor Jumbo body. With all the built-in blah blah, I go off on the specs on this thing. I know the specs on that guitar better than I know the specs on my truck. Yeah, right. It's not even close. But that was the guitar when I was a kid. Not the exact one because it was actually built after my high school years. Right. I think it's a 2005 or 6, something like that. Yeah. But it's the guitar I just dreamed of having when I was a kid. I didn't want an electric. I have a bunch of electrics now, but like I just wanted this jumbo body badass guitar, and it was probably. I don't know, it was probably 4 years ago. I like just said, screw it. I'm buying this damn thing. Cause it's pricey. Yeah. It's super pricey. So
worth it though.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, this could be someone's Lamborghini.
For sure.
You know, I shit on Lamborghinis all the time.
For sure. I know.
I mean, people knew the price of that to be like, what?
But isn't that the point? Like everybody's got to find their quote unquote Lamborghini. Yeah. Like I'm not a car guy either, but again, like find something that like spend money, but spend some money that actually has like value to you. Yeah. I think that's where we get problems is like when people don't really value a Lamborghini and then they buy a Lamborghini and then that fulfillment's gone in a week because you didn't really value that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, guitars they're fun, man. But kind of going back to my whole thing is like, yeah, I'm good. Like if I can pull a guitar out and play it, we can sing along and like pretty much play any song. But there's just that level when you practice enough, right? You get to kind of that mastery level, right? There's like beginners and masters and everyone in between. And I would currently kind of put myself maybe like top 65 percentile or something like that. But at one point I was getting close to mastery, so. I was taking theory classes from a PhD up at University of Utah for about 9 months before I left on my mission.
Oh, man, I've hidden talents. I've told you this many times. What kind of made you like? What was like? Where did you go from that? Was it just life?
Went on the mission. I actually got permission to play guitar on my mission, which was way rare. My mission president wasn't about that, but. I actually made up a Scottish song, so it kind of has like a thumping sound to it. Right? So I grabbed it. It's like a dong 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 doodle 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 doodle, you know. And it impressed him enough that he was like, "Okay, you can practice. I don't want you to kind of lose your talents." But on the mission, man, I mean, I'd play for maybe like half an hour to an hour a day, you know, because you still have to do all your morning crap and leave.
It's still a lot.
Still a decent amount, but it was fun, dude. Like I used to busk in the streets of Scotland. That would kind of give us some attention, and then. We did, gosh, how many concerts did I do? Probably 3 or 4 concerts where we would just go to like community centers or we went to a senior citizen center one time, but dude, it was like freaking 100 people there. Like it was big. And that concert we just did to Garth Brooks all night. Yeah. So me and my companion, he sang and I just played guitar and it was, you know, we bought 2 flannels, you know.
Were they all into it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And Scottish people so I don't know if you know this about British people. They're very polite.
Yeah.
Right. Especially in a public setting. Right.
Yeah.
So after we would play these concerts, almost every person would come up to you and like shake your hand and thank you. But it was like super sincere, right? It's like, thank you for taking your time and coming and entertaining us here. Like your talents are overwhelming. You know, you'd be like, shit. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome.
Probably that audience too. You can't play Nine Inch Nails. You got to know your audience.
Yeah, no, a lot of the country now.
Yeah. Like 9 Inch Nails probably wouldn't have gone over as much. No 30 Seconds to Mars. Like, probably wouldn't have.
I actually learned a couple Coldplay songs. So, One on the Mission 2000, 2002, right? So it's right when Coldplay was getting huge. I don't even know if they hit America yet.
Yeah.
But over there, they were like, really
I've heard they
big.
put on an amazing show.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Everybody says Coldplay puts on an amazing show.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I love their first album and I don't like any other music out.
You don't like their stuff now? Yeah.
No.
Do you find it though? Like I love it. Like you can like like a band, and then it's happened with 30 Seconds to Mars for me. And then you go see like a show, and they're phenomenal live, and it like takes them to a whole nother atmosphere. And then you kind of like a band, and they're not very good live, and it's like they're not as much like. I don't know. I love like going to shows and live music.
Well, they're moments too, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I've realized when I got older. So in the 90s, I was a massive Smashing Pumpkins fan, right? Like every time they came here, I saw them. I would have traveled if I had more money back then. You know what I mean? Like I love Smashing Pumpkins. And so the last concert I saw of theirs was in 1999, I think. And they played at Saltaire. For those listening, right? Saltaire is like this freaking dirty, massive old, it's not really a barn, but it kind of has that barn feel, right? Right next to the Great Salt Lake. And so it's like grimy and cool and fun. It's got a stage and it's just like
no parking,
no parking, blah, 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 like everyone's wearing, back then it was like black shirts and Junko jeans and chains and just all the
Janko jeans. Big white belts.
Yeah. My freaking stupid friends from high school wouldn't go with me. None of them. Right. And I was such a fan. I went to the concert myself. Yeah. Right. It's like easily top 3 greatest concerts I've ever been to.
I've done that too. Where again, I was Imagine Dragons, and I went to it by myself. I think it was at the Salt Palace or whatever, or Delta Center. Oh yeah. And no one would go with me. And this is kind of this was not high school like yours, but I went by myself, and I was like terrified to go by myself. And it's still like one of the greatest shows I've ever had. and I was like, I wonder if people are going to sit there like watching me and stuff, and then you could care less. Yeah. And so I guess it sounds like that kind of the same thing with you with Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, for sure. I didn't care at all. I mean, the crazy thing, I mean, you know me, right? So I made like 10 friends when I was there, right? And they were all way old. Me too. I was like, 90? I was probably 17. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or 18. Yeah. And dude, I was just like kind of making friends with people. But dude, we like moshed the whole time, and it was sweaty and dirty and freaking fun as hell. And then, I don't know. And Billy Corgan back in the 90s just had this screechy, whiny ass voice, right? Just like, and just, I don't know. It's the whole build up and the fog and it's a smaller venue. Even though it could probably hold 2,000, something like that. It's not tiny, but it's, not the Delta Center for sure.
I went to a show last year at Saltaire, and they did it outside Paramore. I was like shocked.
Outside.
Like on one of the side railings was like there, and then the stage, and then like you were on the salt flats, and it was incredible. I'll show you a pic. I said, but it was incredible. I've never had that because usually it's like 2,000 fans, and there were so many cars. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna fit here. Yeah. It was outside.
That's way cool.
It was way nuts.
See, here's the thing I made a mistake with when I went to that concert. That concert, I should have just left it there and never gone back. And what I mean by that is the Smashing Pumpkins about 5 years ago came to Salt Lake again, right? Yeah. So I was actually in Disneyland when the tickets were released, right? So I'm like, telling my wife, I'm like, hey, I gotta get my phone for a minute. And I'm like on Ticketmaster or whatever, getting these tickets. And I bought they were pricey, but I bought I don't know, 3rd row, 5th row tickets, maybe 9th row, somewhere in there. Yeah. It wasn't that close, probably 9th row. And I mean, I'm pumped, right? But then when you go and you just sit down and you're on the floor, and when it was in the Delta Center, right? And I'm like, this is weird. I need no chairs here. I want everyone crowded on the stage. Back to the dirty, grimy fun. And dude, he sang, and I told my wife, it was a major buildup, right? It was like a 6-month wait before we went. I was all excited, we were listening to music all the time. Dude, we get 20, 22 songs in, probably his 35 song set, right? And dude, it was he was the most polished karaoke, old people jiving, and I was like, I hate this. Yeah. I'm hating this. And his voice was
different.
well done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, God damn it. The charm of you is that you have this grimy ass voice that's like unique. And so, dude, like way before the encore, I just lead to Michelle. I go, hey, we're out of here. She's like, everything okay? And I'm like, no, I hate this music now. And I literally have maybe listened to Smashing Pumpkins twice since.
Kind of proves my point.
Yeah,
I said you had a bad experience live, and now it's like one of your like favorite bands growing up. Yeah. It's like, no, I don't want to, like, again, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. What was the concert we went to? Was it Steel Panther?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with you guys to like Counting Crows and Dashboard.
Oh, were you going that night?
Yeah.
Good.
Love Counting Crows and Dashboard. I love going to live shows.
Dude, you know what's funny about that show? I can't go.
I guess we're not going then.
You can go. I bought 8 tickets.
Oh, I'm still going.
Yeah.
Why can't you go?
No, because I'm in that freaking play up at Eccles.
Oh, yeah.
So I just noticed that this week.
I want to go see you and do that too.
Come on Saturday night because that concert's like Friday.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good week. It's gonna be a good weekend.
I'm so pissed, dude. So the last showing on Friday night's at 8.
Yeah.
On this, it's not stupid. I'm actually really excited and really nervous actually going do the stage thing, but yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not going to go see Counting Crows. I've never seen Counting Crows, and I was so excited for that. We got 8 tickets. We got 8 lawn chairs already lined up. Like, it's good to go.
Adam Duritz, dude, he's the man. He's so good live. He comes out always no shoes on, no socks. He's in bare feet.
Who's that?
Counting Crows, Adam Duritz, the lead singer of Counting Crows. He's really good. He's actually my brother's favorite band. And I've seen him probably 4 times. He was like when I would tease my brother, like older brother, like tease and stuff. We went and saw him live. It was actually in Los Angeles. We were down there for vacation. I brought my brother Christmas presents, and it was like right by the Staples Center. I don't remember the name of the venue, and it was like kind of a culture shock for us because I think I was like 17 at the time. He was 20, and Wallflowers opened.
Oh, so dope!
It's so dope. And Dylan, the lead singer of the Wallflowers, he was high as ever, and we were like, "What is happening?" But yeah, he came out, and they are phenomenal live. And just good. And like I said, it was a smaller venue. And so, yeah, I'm kind of excited for that.
I just made a decision in my head. I'm going to go find another date on that tour this year.
And go somewhere else.
Michelle and I are going to go see them.
Yeah.
I have to see them, dude. There's a couple bands, I wish I could have seen before they passed, right? Like Nirvana.
Oh.
Right? Problem is, Nirvana, we were like 12 when he died, 13 maybe.
Yeah.
What's another band? What's a band of yours that you wanted to see live but you never did?
I don't know if it's a band. Like my number one on my bucket list is Eminem, because again, he doesn't perform a lot and things like that. I guess like all the classic rock bands and stuff like Journey, like Steve Perry doesn't perform anymore and things like that. Yeah. I'm trying to think of bands that I love. I think I've seen everybody. What about you?
I was just thinking about the same thing. I've seen most bands.
Yeah.
So from the 90s, I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many bands now. It's hard to.
Yeah.
Can't make that claim, but I don't think I missed a concert in high school. Like. Of course, concerts too are like $15.
I know. So that's what it is. They're crazy now.
It make me mad. So I go, this is a really stupid thing I did. So Michelle and I get tickets to Metallica last year in Vegas at Allegiant, right? Yeah. And then we get Billy Joel the next night, right? So I'm like, hey, you want to go? And my friend, my other good buddy came down with us. He's a massive Billy Joel fan. He even went to Metallica the night before. Yeah. So I'm just not going to sit up in the high section in Allegiant, right? Like you can't even see shit. You might as well listen to it on the TV. So I buy floor tickets to Metallica, and I'm so excited to go see Metallica that we go at 6:30 when the opening band opened up. Okay. I know Michelle, right? She's like, sure, Mark, we'll go. Yeah, we'll go. Like, we'll be there 6:30. We'll get T-shirts and blah blah blah, like all this kind of stuff, dude. Dude, Metallica didn't come on until like 10. So with my back, I'm like standing there, dude.
Long night for you.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, and they had 2 opening bands and they were both fine. One of them was Greta Van Fleet, if you ever heard of them.
I haven't heard them.
Yeah, they're kind of like a Led Zeppelin-ish, newish band kind of thing. They were fine. But dude, by the end of it, dude, I was like leaning against the ADA cage that they have out there. Yeah. Like on the floor for the guys. And I freaking had to leave that concert early. Because by like 11:30, bro.
Just because you're sore as shit.
Oh my God, I was hurting so bad.
Metallica actually was one I was going to say I would love to see live.
Dude, they sound really good live.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, even in Allegiant, it was standing room down there, right? But like to get close to the stage, we were 5,000 people deep. Like, and they were like those grumpy dudes that just aren't going to let you pass, right?
I bet you floor seats, especially for Metallica in Vegas, were again how asinine the prices are.
They were crazy. They were $4.90 a piece.
It's still crazy though.
Well, Beyonce's coming down there, right? And my wife's a pretty big Beyonce fan. So I hit her up. I say, hey, cause I get the pre-sale, right? Like 2 days before they come out. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go to see Beyonce? And she's like, yeah, that'd be cool. And we figured the date. I'm like, yeah, take some of your girls and, you know, maybe we'll get some guys to go down and we'll just go gamble while you guys watch Beyonce. Cause I don't give a shit to watch Beyonce. And, dude, section 400, top section in Allegiant, $900 after fees. And I'm like, dude, how do you charge that much money?
I think this is where like we have like, where are people putting this money? They've got to be putting it on credit card debt. It's like, I'm going to Taylor Swift too, like right after Spain. And it's like, have you seen the same price for this? I'm like, where are people getting this money? Like who's paying $900 for nosebleeds for Beyonce?
Well, exactly. And that stadium holds literally 65,000 people and then the floor.
Yeah.
So I don't know I can't remember if it's general admission down there or what, but floor tickets I didn't even look at. I was like, whatever, girls. And then the more I was talking to my wife, and at first, you know, me, I was just like, yeah, we'll still buy them, like whatever. And then like the next day I go, hey, how much do you love Beyonce? Michelle like laughs and she's like, not $900 worth. Yeah. I'm like, okay, good. Because that's another thing, you got to get the hotels and go down.
Do everything, yeah.
That'd be expensive.
Expensive Beyonce.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to go see in the fall is Aerosmith.
Now that would be great. See,
down in Arizona.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Did you see Billy that time in Vegas when you were saying?
Yeah, we saw
Billy. I've seen Billy once, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah, Michelle and I were the youngest people in there.
Yeah, Billy's a showman though.
Yeah, he's funny. He's amazing.
Why do you think like that, like that classic rock, like the 70s, 80s rock can like hold up over time so well? Because again, I think it's like what we talked about before. It's like the actual bands and it's actual lyrics and there's actually music to it. Yeah. And I did grow up a lot with that stuff, but it's like, how does that hold up? Because I don't think some of the stuff is going to hold up like even in the 2000s.
Oh, not a chance. It's because they were artists, you know, they wrote their own music. I mean, obviously not every band. There's always been songwriters out there that sell their music, right? But really, I mean, Aerosmith writes their own music. Yep. I think most of the bands you love, I mean, Elton John. Oh, I mean, they might collaborate, right?
That's what I saw. It was really the talent. Elton and Billy together. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Oh, yeah. So, what was that? The Red Piano show?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Elton wasn't as good, but Billy like kind of brought the house down.
Really? He was better than Elton?
Yeah, which is shocking. I love them both, but just that night,
I thought they'd be real equal, honestly.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. I went and saw Dream Show would be like the Beatles. I think they're my favorite band ever, or I think the best band. I went and saw Paul McCartney. He was at Rio Tinto like a few years. He played for 3 hours and played like a lot of and stuff like that. So as I'm getting here, I'm like, I haven't been to a lot of shows, haven't I? Yeah. Yeah.
Is he good?
He was good. He was phenomenal. Played for 3 hours. He played like a lot.
He's getting old.
I know. Yeah. And this was probably 10 years ago, like 10, 11 years ago. But okay. But he was good.
Have you seen the Beatles Love down in Vegas?
No, I need to. I've heard it's phenomenal.
It's pretty good. There's a lot of B songs in there, which sometimes I like and sometimes I don't. Yeah. Sometimes you go to those, you just want to hear the hits, right? Yeah. But then it's also like, but I've heard the hits a bazillion times. So
well, that's the funny part. My dad always teases me. He's like especially if I'm hit, like he's like, you only like the hits and stuff. I'm like, well, I wasn't listening to their albums growing up. Like I don't know like the B-sides. Like I don't know all the other stuff. I do now with like my modern bands. But yeah, the only stuff I know is the stuff that was on the radio. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it's freaking. Yeah, bands are funny. So hey, I want to bring up something.
Sure.
Baseball.
Okay.
You're the greatest college baseball players ever. How did you become that?
I wasn't the greatest college. I was the greatest high school. Baseball was like my first definitely love and passion. Yeah. And things like that. And I was always kind of, I was talking about this the other day, like with how blessed my parents are, but we had like all-star practice, like 6 a.m., 6 p.m. And then we would playing street games like during the day. Yeah. But I was always like the greatest hitter, just growing up. And I just like absolutely loved it and would like study it and do all that stuff. And then
did you pick your spot or were you just swinging for the fences or?
I was definitely more of a gap to gap guy and like more on base guy and like never really swung at anything, had a really short swing. Like I could generate power and stuff. Yeah. But the funniest part about this, like I was always like the dominant player and like best hitter in my age group. Like my 15-year-old year, the year before we went to high school, like I came up with the bases loaded and 2 outs and I got intentionally walked. Like that's nice. The ultimate compliment that you can get. Yeah. And so but then we get to high school and we have this really good, famous coach is Steve Cramlett. And he didn't think I could play. And so it was going to be like frustration. My dad wanted me to transfer out. And like, we had this kid younger than me because I played third base and he played third. And so he wanted me to transfer out. I'm like, screw that. I'm going to beat this guy out. And then, so like junior year, I started getting some at bats, and then I like fifth or sixth game of like high school, I hit like a home run and then hit third or fourth, and still have like a lot of like high school records and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now did you go to Taylorsville?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Jimmy's story always mixes me up because he went from Taylorsville to Murray, right? Like,
well, Jimmy's story is nuts because Jimmy's older brother Matt was like kind of one of my idols, and he won state MVP as a junior.
Oh, wow.
But then our coach, that same head coach, did not get along with Jimmy's dad. And then Jimmy's other brother, JD, comes up, and JD was a phenomenal player, and he cuts JD, and like, just because he didn't want to deal with Sam. And then so Matt's like the MVP of the state, has all these things. And so it was like a huge deal. I'm like, how did JD get cut? So Matt played his senior year at Taylorsville, and then that's when they all started going to Murray.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why they went to Murray?
That's why yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Well, the nerve of to cut, like, again, the MVP of the state as a junior.
Yeah.
And things like that. So, yeah. So Jimmy, all those guys, like Jimmy and the whole Rex family, they were Taylorsville guys too.
So are all the Rex brothers good at baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they all weren't born with great speed, let's say. I'm not either, but like not great speed, but yeah. Jimmy, Dell, JD, and Matt.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Taylorsville baseball when you played there. Yeah. You guys are like the best, like a dominant best, right? Yeah,
we went through a phase, and again, it was more of a little league, and it was like it's not there anymore. But like all the parents brought in, and I mean, I won a state title literally when I was 8, when I was 9, when I was 10, when I was 11, when I was 12, 14, and 15, and then like again, so we won state titles all year, and it was like we weren't not kids from out of, you're like, everybody was from Taylorsville. That's all we did and stuff. And so we were always dominant, but then the high school team was dominant. I think they won like state titles in 92, 93, 94, 96, 98, 2000, and 2002. Jeez. Yeah, it was just crazy. So there was just kind of like this legacy, and that's the hardest part. So my sophomore year, we won in 2000, and then we won at my senior year, 2002, we went 26-2, and they haven't won one since, And so, a funny story though, like, cause I'm not like a quote unquote athletic guy. I'm like more coordination guy. And so my head coach, like, he was trying to give me a compliment, but he calls me up in front of the guys. And he's like, hey, everybody look at this guy. He's got no talent. He can't run. He can't throw. He can't hit for power, but he's going to play because he works his ass off. Now go back over there. And so I had another coach call me. He's like, that was supposed to be a compliment. It didn't come out as a compliment. But again, like that was kind of like the story of like my life now, but like that where baseball's taught and again, I have like all these high school state records. I was 2-time all-state player, and nobody gave me a scholarship to go play. So I had to go walk on the University of Utah, and then redshirted my first year, and then was like a freshman Mountain West back then, and earned a scholarship that way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, why were they not recruiting you? Is it just because you're slow?
Just because baseball, I call it like baseball medieval thinking. Like baseball, there's like, they always say there's like 5 tools. There's like, can you hit for power? Can you run? Can you throw? And can you field? Yeah. And again, like everybody's like, I got told like, oh, he can't hit with a wood bat. And like, well, he hit like 540 in like high school, like he can do it here. Yeah. But again, it was just weird. Like we were going to like small schools like CEU or Snow, like when Snow had a program. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, we don't think this guy can. Well, he's hitting third for the best team in the state, like 2-time all-state player, and still didn't get a scholarship.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. And so I coached high school baseball for 9 years, and that's why I would try to work, because baseball gets in its way because they think, like they don't, like stats don't matter to them. It's just like, well, can this guy run? Can this guy throw? It's like, okay, but he can hit. Yeah. And so like, that's kind of like, and it's getting a little better like that, but like for a while, and it's still there. Like with baseball, like we don't care about his numbers. We just care about his quote unquote tool set.
Yeah. Like intangible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's kind of like the Moneyball thing, right? I remember watching Moneyball, was cracking me up because when they're like, well, I don't know how confident he is, he doesn't have the really hot girlfriend.
Yeah. Hot girl.
It's like, what the hell does that have to do with anything?
That was like completely our phase. And
yeah,
like I said, then I'm like, give me the guy that can give me 9 guys that can play that aren't quote unquote 5 tool players compared to the guys that like are like the tool play, like,
yeah.
Like we had and he's a good friend, but he like hit 7th for us, and he wasn't very good. He was a big, strong guy. And we went to CSI, and I really wanted to go to CSI. Like I wanted, and they offer him full ride and everything. And they're like, oh, he's like, and I'm like, yeah, he hit 7th for us. And they didn't even want me to play. They're like, They said I couldn't even walk on because they're like, well, that guy can't hit with a wood bat.
Yeah.
And it's just like some of that. And I'm like, that's some of the stuff is like, I just don't understand.
So what was it like walking on it at the U? Was it hard? Were you nervous or?
No, funny part about that is I was such a confident kid. Like, again, they called me and said, yeah, you're on the team. We don't have any money for it, but you can walk on. This is like literally 2 weeks before the school year starts. And it was actually my dad, and he just kept calling because I had nowhere to play. And they're like, I thought he was going to Slick, and it kind of fell through. But again, walking on, I actually walk in. I remember like our first meeting, and they're like, we have like 3 or 4 guys that can hit third or fourth. And I thought they were talking about me, like It was just a confident thing. And like I got there and they could see I could hit, but I played left field my last year in high school, and they had moved me to first because they're like, you need to go to first base glove because I was like the slowest kid alive. Yeah. And again, like, and then like I was not near where I needed to be in the weight room. So like I redshirt and stuff, but it was actually fine because again, I could hit at that level. We had some pretty good arms that year, 2002 up at the U, and I like in practice and stuff, I could hit them, so they could kind of see some of it and stuff. So it wasn't as hard, but it was, I mean, I was still kind of just outwork everybody. I took more swings in the cage than everybody and things like that. But it was nice that we had a head coach. His name's Tim Esme. He went down to Arizona State later. He didn't care if you were walk on it or anything. Like he was just like, hey, everybody's on the team. It's kind of like one go, and it's just everybody play. Yeah. Yeah. That's
fun. How was the team? Were you guys competitive? Were you good?
We weren't very good, to be honest. Like, we always could hit, like, especially my years, like, my red shirt, when the year I made freshman Mountain West, so 2003, we were like losing games like 14-17. We used to so in college, you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Our first guy out of the pen on Friday would start on Sunday. So we just had no pitching and things like that. And they could really teach you how to hit and stuff. And so we were like mediocre, and we could always just put up runs. Baseball, if you don't have pitching, you don't have pitching and things like that. So that was always kind of our rub and everything. And the U's problem is they just don't really try to put a lot of effort into the baseball program. And so that was kind of the thing now. So we were okay.
Excuse me. With that, how many years did you play?
So I played 4. I didn't play my senior year. I don't know if I'm trying to like get away with like regrets. Like, do we have regrets? Yeah. It's probably the only thing I've ever quit in my life. Yeah. I wanted to go to UVU. We got a new coach who I did not get along with, and he was kind of like the exact opposite with the previous coach. He kind of lied through his teeth and stuff. So I was trying to transfer to UVU for my last year, and he actually liked me as a guy, but he just didn't give me like a fair shot. I'm like, and I had like no respect for him because he lied. I'm like, no, I just want to go. And he wouldn't sign a transfer. And so back then, if you had to sign a transfer, you had to sit out another year. I had redshirted. I was close to getting my degree anyways. I'm like, if you don't sign a transfer, and he's like, no, I'm going to sign a transfer. And so I quit my senior year, and it's kind of like one of my quote unquote regrets, and of what, like who quits?
Yeah. No, I remember that. But one story that you told at one of our Ludises, right, was about your mom and you at the end. Tell us more about that. Tell the story. Okay, so the story was, and I'll tell, I haven't even followed up with you on that. So the story was, because I have just phenomenal parents, and they were always like the most supportive parents ever. And my mom and my dad knew how frustrating that last year was for me. And so they knew it was probably going to be, I mean, I go from like playing all the time to being lied to, like to being the first guy off the bench. And then, so they kind of just knew like the frustration I was having, and like kind of my love of the game was gone, like at that point. And for me, that's remarkable because again, I love the game, or I love the game, and I still do, but more than anybody. But at that point I was just like, this guy's like lying. So they knew it was coming. So we had the Mountain West tournament was actually here in Salt Lake, and our last game of the year, my dad's at this point so pissed off he can't even come to the game because I'm like, and my mom's there, and I remember we lose, and I'm just like, okay, this is probably it because I'm not going to be able to transfer, whatever, go say goodbye to all the guys, come back out, and like we're at Franklin Covey, and no one's there, and you have to walk like through the path to the parking lot, and just like I'm kind of trying to soak it all in because I'm figuring like this is the last. And I look up in the stands, and there's not another person in the stands than my mom. I look up and I just look at her, and she's sitting there, and she has her sunglasses on, and she's just, and I sat there and like froze and looked at her for like 10 seconds, and we just didn't say a word, just had eye contact.
And we knew that was it. And it was like such a powerful moment because she had been there for everything, you know? And like, yeah, it was kind of cool. Like, cause she knew it was the end and like, but do you remember what you told me? Like I told that story and you challenged me like, hey, you need to tell your mom that. So I went and told her that. Dude, Mark, you're right, dude. She was like bawling, you know?
Love that, dude.
Well, it's like we talk about, like, if you have parents, go tell them how much you love them.
Yeah.
Because all the petty shit and all that stuff, like, so we got into some like real good conversation and stuff, and we talked for like 2 hours.
Oh, that's cool.
But again, I kind of told her that story and how much that meant to me, and she remembered exactly, and with the tear coming down her face. And
yeah, it's funny, right? Like we talked, in our men's group and just in life, right? We talked to all these people and I don't know, I find out I'm kind of harping on people these days because like, especially girls, right? Late 30s, 40s, right? And they're like, oh, my mom this, my mom.
Yeah.
And, she's like this and that. And they're all kind of grumpy with them. And it's like, how can you guys not look at your children right now and think, I want them to be like a massive part of my life the rest of my life?
Yeah.
I remember we were talking to these people and this girl was kind of talking about her mother wound, right? All this stuff. And I go, you'd be freaking embarrassed if you were able to go back and watch your childhood with that perception. You're mad at your mom because she lied to you during a birthday party, said there wasn't enough cake or something, some idiotic thing. But you don't know if your mom and dad got in a fight that morning. Maybe your dad was having an affair. Maybe for like 2 years she was dealing with the grief and she's trying to have a stiff upper lip to come in here and, stuff that you'll never actually know. But you're pissed about one stupid moment when you were like 10.
Well, I told my mom this, and now you think this, now that we're parents, and this is what I told her, like, you think your parents, no matter how good or bad they were, you figured they had their shit figured out. They didn't. Why? Because we don't.
Right.
Like, don't you think the kids are here to teach you? Like, they're teaching you. This is what I told my mom, like, they're teaching you. Yeah. Like, we get to create their universe and things like that, but they're teaching you. And so every day it's like, yeah, I probably messed that up. I probably fucked that up. Like, what do you want me to do? But again, you try to get better and stuff, but like literally, like, you're the same person that you've always been. Now you just have kids and you're trying to do your best, but you think you look at your parents like they have everything. They don't.
Yeah. Well, so many people go through so many things that you never know, right?
You have no idea.
Now, that's one thing I've always tried to do in my life. Like I've always tried to be kind, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we've talked about this too, right? Like being powerful kindness comes from being powerful. Right? Mm-hmm. You can't really be, and weakness is where you have like being nice. So if someone's like, oh, he's the nicest guy ever. You know what I mean? Like that generally shows up in someone's weakness.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a weak mentality or the way they show up into the world. So I've always tried to be kind to people. Not that I can't be a dickhead because I think everyone has that in them. Yeah. Or you need to be able to have that in you, right? So you don't get taken advantage of. But I don't know. It's just always served me well if I just kind of lead with kindness. Even when people get mad, even when you're in a confrontational moment, right? Yeah. You can still be kind during that, Don't say hurtful shit for no reason, but you can also talk about what the issues are. Yeah. So
I agree 100%. Like kindness is, and that's ironically one of the things I got from my mom. But like I said, you can always, like, what's the point of coming down to their energy level and things like that? And it's even with like your parents. And like, sometimes I think we get in our way, like all these people that have had parents that pass and stuff, they said, if you're lucky enough to have your parents, go hug them. No matter what you're going through, you kind of challenged me on the same thing. Because me and my parents had the same thing because we were on opposite sides of the pandemic and some other things. Yeah. And it was like just little petty shit. And I've had, like, my parents been phenomenal, but it's like, why are you letting those stuff drive the narrative? Yeah. And it's, you can focus on whatever you want. You can focus on what your mom didn't do or what your dad didn't do and stuff like that. Or you can focus like, holy shit, they were just trying to figure out their own lives and what they did do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It changes your perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like when I meditate, I used to try and like talk to my like older self or eternal self, right? And if you can get in that headspace, it's very interesting because you end up looking at your life and just being like, it's all right. Relax.
Yeah.
It's nothing's ever as good as it seems and nothing's ever as
bad as it seems.
You just got to kind of, and then you don't need to live life in neutral or anything like that or copacetic. But like, you also don't need to get wildly upset.
No.
Take your energy and waste it on being wildly happy.
Especially on someone like that you're like, you have a connection with. Yeah. Or like you love with. Like, why are you holding such like a grudge or whatever? Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way to look at it.
And it's interesting too, right? Because happy people, if you just choose to be happy and no matter what anyone says, it's all a choice, right?
I couldn't agree more. And like one of my superpowers is, I'm very, very happy and things like that. And I've been thinking about this a lot, but like, why is that? And it's because it's like for years and years, like I've said, like, I'm going to be the happiest person alive, like that and things like that. And like, it is a choice, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. It's like, if you want to get in like phenomenal shape, 5 workouts aren't going to be that, but it's years and years and years of practice of like, you know what, like it's things like that. And it's like, are you going to make that a priority?
Yeah. I was just talking to my daughter last night. So she has a birthmark right here in her throat. She loves it. I love it. It's a distinguishing factor on her. Right?
Yeah.
But so we were in Nick's office yesterday, and it's time to cut it off because it can become cancerous. Yeah. And she was in there and we're talking, and she doesn't want to take it off at the end of the day. Right. So my wife and I take her to lunch after, and we're kind of walking around, and we go to Wingstop, and we're sitting there talking, and I'm like, baby, like, I'm your dad. I got to protect you.
Yeah.
I even said to her, I was like, hey, we can tattoo this thing back on if you want.
Yeah.
But we were up.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
She's like, well, I have to wait till I'm 18. I'm like, no, you don't. I got to sign off on this tomorrow. And I'm like, I will, I mean, it's crazy kind of, but like.
How did she want it off or?
She does not want it off.
Yeah.
But so last night we were sitting there talking, right? And, she woke up about 10 o'clock. My kids go to bed between 8:30 and 9 at her age, and she's 13. And she came back downstairs around 10 crying. She jumped in bed with my wife and I, and my wife's kind of holding her. So I took her out onto the couch and was talking to her. I'm like, what's up, babe? She's just like, I don't want to take it off. I know I need to, but I don't want to. And I'm just sad about it. And I'm like, that's okay. And so I went into this thing, which actually drives me crazy, but it's the truth. And it's what's the gift in this? Yeah. Right? Because sometimes you just don't want to find the gift. Sometimes you just want to be mad for a minute, right? So when you're mad and someone looks at you and goes, what's the gift?
Yeah.
It's like,
oh. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, stop.
We'll look at the gift tomorrow.
Yeah. Or in 2 weeks.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
And so.
What's the gift of this?
I was talking to her, right? So I brought a couple guys up in our men's group that have been through some really hard things. Didn't name them or anything. I just kind of told her about it. And I'm like, babe, these people like lost their moms early in life, or like, had horrible things happen to them, like things that are against the law have happened to them, right? And then they've just been victims. And I said, even these guys learn, what's the gift in this? What did I learn? So I told her, I said, I think, and you can tell me whatever you think, I think that the gift in all this is that you're going to learn to choose the right under hard circumstances. I'm like, honey, this isn't a right or wrong thing. But there's a clear, we should take this thing off of you because it's just not worth you ended up getting, skin cancer.
For sure.
And it's right on our throat too. Yeah. So it's like, what if it spread into your throat or your lymph nodes? Like this is bad. And when we were with Nick yesterday, Nick's great because he just remains neutral pretty much. He just kind of presenting facts. And I said, Nick, tell me, this is Isabel, you pulling this thing off? And he's like, yes. Yep, unequivocally yes.
Yeah.
And then he looked at Brea, and he was just like, hey, I'm not on anyone's side, honey, and there's no sides here. Yeah. Everyone's on your team. We're just all trying to figure out what's the best thing for you to do, and you get to have a voice in this. And I think that made her feel good, but
for sure. She gets to hear it from somebody that's not her dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the hard part too about being a parent, even in that story. It's like, you've got to let her figure that out where it's like, I'm just trying to protect you all I can, but she doesn't. That's awesome that you're teaching her such advanced stuff.
Yeah.
Because still, at some level, she's got to learn it for it.
Oh, yeah. And I also, when I was talking to her as well, I'm like, this is also going to teach you to be mentally strong.
Yeah.
Like, you can have a cry about it now, but once the decision's made, it's over, buddy. You just go back to choosing to be happy.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And when it happens, it happens. And then we will make decisions after that. And you'll go and live in your life. And you've got hundreds and hundreds, if not millions of more decisions to make. And this is just going to be a hard
another decision.
I also said to her too, I was like, this is not going to be the hardest thing you do in your life.
Yeah.
So it's good now to learn to do hard things. And then, later on, she's like, well, what could be harder in my life? And I was like, dude, raising babies.
But don't you remember when you were 13 or 15, like how everything, you've got to let them have, don't you think you've got to let them have that? Because when 13 or 15, that means the whole world to them.
Yeah.
Like that. But it's like, now as a parent, looking back at it, it's like, well, yeah, that stuff didn't matter. But at the time for us, it 100% mattered.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to let them think like from your perspective, yeah, it's going to be a small decision in the grand scheme of your life. But for her at the time, it's it's the biggest thing in the world. Yeah. And we were all there too, and you've got to let them learn that, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta, that's the hard part with parenting. Right?
Oh,
is you've got to support, advise, sometimes trump, but try and help them figure it out themselves. You know what I mean? Like if she comes back to me and goes, I absolutely do not want this off, I choose to keep it on, then I'm going to be like, well, tough. I'm taking
you have to.
I got you till May.
And even if you're an asshole for like the next month,
yeah,
you have to be. That's the hard part about parenting is you've got to like let them try to experience the pain and all that stuff. And like you can't try to protect them from it because that's how we grow.
Yeah.
And that's at least for me, like with how much love I have, that is going to be an ultimate challenge for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and your little kids are still small, so
just for everybody listening, I have a 5-year-old and a set of twins that are 3, and so we're like in the different phase. Like we're not like when you get the kids get to the teenage years, it's more the emotional, like dealing with that stuff. We're more still in the physical, and but yeah, we're still. I'm trying to like again, especially with like the 5-year-old, I'm still trying to like let them learn some of the like these lessons, like start planting seeds, like. You know, like don't play the victim, you know, things are supposed to be hard, things that are hard are good, you know, like things like that. But
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So you're in my men's group.
Yeah.
So we're in the same men's group, I should say. I worded that weird.
Yeah.
It's not my group.
We're in 2 men's groups. One,
We're in Jimmy Rex's men's group. We are the day. So we're kind of talking about lessons, right? And so our men's group's amazing. It's super dope.
Yeah.
Right. We could have all these like cool experiences, and last experience, you and I were together for a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of fun. We're on the same little team, getting our ass kicked by the military. But what do you think the biggest lessons you've learned so far in our men's group? Because now we're, you know, late 30s, early 40s.
I love the men's group. I think the men's group is very much needed. The biggest lessons I've learned by far is no matter what you think, everybody's going through something. No matter what, like. I think in society we get in trouble because we start comparing against people. It's like if you're comparing this person gets money or fitness or whatever, no matter what you think that person has, they're battling issues, you know, like that. And so like that's what I've learned is like no matter how much you think someone has something figured out, they don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
We never have it figured out. Jeff Bezos doesn't have it figured out. Like no one has it figured out. And don't you think, Mark, though, that's like a comforting fact? At least has it been for me. It's kind of it's where I got stuck in my life a little bit, but you're never going to get it figured out. And how that's almost like it's relief. Like no matter what you think you're going to do, you're not going to get there.
Yeah. So
just keep trying to improve to get there. And no matter what, it's not going to get there.
Well, you just got to pivot, right?
Yeah.
That's why you never figure it out because life's always changing.
Always changing. And priorities are always changing.
Yeah. You could have a parent die tomorrow. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's going to shake you up for a minute.
For sure.
You know? And yeah, if you, I mean, I agree. One of the best things I've learned is just keep that strong foundation.
Yes.
And also another thing too is one thing that I've really learned in this group, or at least it's been enhanced in this group, is being who you are 100%.
100%. That was actually going to be my next point.
I hate it when people like
be authentic.
You know, you're talking to somebody, right, and they're like 80% of them.
Yeah.
They're like kind of holding back, and it's because who the hell knows? They think they're being professional, or they're embarrassed by themselves, or everything in between, right?
Yep.
It's like, you hear me say it all the time in the men's group. I'm like, be 100%
yourself.
Be a dick if you're a dick sometimes, at least, and then everyone will, you'll be endearing at least, instead of like, I don't know, just fake all the time.
Well, I think it's like why we've talked about like why vulnerability is a strength,
Yeah.
Because again, I think people are drawn to people being authentic. It's why people are drawn to you. It's why people are drawn to me. Like I am myself and I am like that. Like, and again, people can feel that energy. Like I'm not trying to fake like I am. It's the same with you. Like of all your strengths and stuff, it's like you have this little kid energy, you have all this stuff and people are so drawn to that. It's like of your leadership, but again, you are Mark. And again, that's why people are drawn, and again, like as society, we like, I think we're like bred, like you're supposed to be this and supposed to be this. No, you're supposed to be exactly where you are. And you're supposed to be exactly who you are now.
Yeah.
If you want to change that, start making habits today and then be that guy in 5 years or 3 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But again, like you don't have to be anything that you're not.
Yeah. And you shouldn't be, that's one of the little secrets or little cheat codes in life, right? Like, we had our men's call last week that I ran, You
did great.
I had so many other things I wanted to say on there, dude. I could do a part 2 and 3 almost.
I love what I told you though, by the way, because Jimmy does a great job on the call and you're like, I hope, and you said, I hope I did do this, Jimmy. I go, no, you did different than Jimmy. And that's what we need. Like,
yeah.
And like I said, you did do that,
yeah.
And I was like, in my moments where I was kind of proud of myself, like, I'm like, oh yeah, like good thing to say, but I'm like, no, like.
No, I agree. It was awesome to hear that.
Yeah.
You're right. It's kind of going back to what we're saying, Jimmy's Jimmy. He does it his way. I'm Mark. I do it my way.
Yeah.
And it's And it's great. It's actually an amazing relationship, I think, between everybody in the group. Because other people think that this is like Jimmy's, like he's like the cult leader and it's like his personality.
What did you think going into the group? I had no idea what to think.
I didn't really think much about anything, honestly.
Yeah.
You've heard my story a million times. I joined because Nick asked me to.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool, we'll do this, whatever, I mean, I went to the first Moab trip thinking I'm just going to find the top 10 dudes in here and just roll with these bros and just kind of not talk to anybody else, which I'm very happy I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, this system's not set up to do that anyways, but
I think it's different than everybody thinks it is.
Way different.
But again, it's the same thing, just being open and honest with like themselves. That's all the group is. Yeah. Like Jimmy's very good at it, but again, it's just connecting people and then having people be authentic and things like that.
Well, I don't even know if Jimmy realizes this yet, just because he's got so many thoughts and so many things that he's doing, but like we are the name actually says everything about it. Cause like the group is the group.
Yeah.
He's definitely the leader. He's driving it. It's his curriculum that he's put in place. Right. But the magic happens when the group gets together and the group participates. And when the group meets with people and we share our lives with our friends and we open up our families to the other families and we build lifelong connections. And then we get, we have good advice for each of our brothers and like, you know what I mean? Like it's the group. And that's kind of one of the things when I was saying on that call, right? I'm like, guys, this is us. You are branded. We are the they.
Yeah.
We're a year into this thing, 98% of us at this point will probably graduate the program that's in our group. Right.
I get sad when guys drop out.
I do too.
Like I said, and I know you never know the whole story and things like that. But like Jansen, like I hope he's listening. Like he's like, again, he's out and stuff. Like there's some other guys that dropped out and I get sad. Yeah. I liked your point the other day too, like where, like, because I do think with the group, there's gonna be like 5, 10, 15 guys that you're gonna stay with after the group. But it's like you're only gonna have this moment, these 2.5 years for a little bit, and so like take advantage of that, because then whatever it is next, that will be the next thing.
Exactly. And that's like I look at some of these guys and I hear them tell these stories of being, that they regret stuff, right? Yeah. Oh, I regret not doing that. And I regret not going on that trip and I regret not doing this. And then we get in our group, they're like, well, I'm not going to go on that trip. It's like, hey, dummy, like this thing's over. Yeah. This is a 2.5 year long program. And I know we stay in the tribe for
forever. Yeah.
Forever. But like, we're not going to be going on 2-3 adventure trips every year. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. Life will change for us. All of us, right? And it's like now we have this group of 50 dudes. This is the moment, right? This is like high school, right? You had your high school friends in high school doing high school things.
You had your college friends. I had my college teammates. Yeah. Yeah,
and those are all like life experiences. And now it's like, you got your men's group, this particular one. And when it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
And like half these dudes, it's not like you're going to expel them from your life, but like things will just change. I mean, there's dudes in our group that are way young, right? I mean, they're going to get married, they're going to have kids, they're going to have heartache. There's gonna be guys in our group that die. I mean, all of us will eventually die, but then, I mean, you get 55 dudes, you're going to have one might die in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Might have 3, who knows? And so the moment now is to be present.
Well, I think that's again, the lesson, right? Yeah. That's the lesson. It's like, even we were talking about with our parents, well, I do this, I know like one of the things I do, but like, the lesson is to the moment that you, like you said, the moment that you have right now, live in that moment with the relationships you have. Because the relationships are supposed to come and go in this life. You have friendships that are like, and be thankful for friendship, but like in those moments, tell that person that you love them. Tell them that you think they're a great leader. Tell them that you like, again, because like, that's where like living regret is live in that exact moment with that exact relationship, because that relationship is most likely going to change.
Yeah. You do a good job of that.
I've learned to do it though.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's like one of my cliche things, but I've always said like relationships are my most valuable thing. And then I've learned like literally if I have an impulse, like I'll just take out my phone and text or like, hey Mark, I seriously love you. Yeah. Like, or like Nick, cause I'm a huge believer in like energy, like that stuff. So that energy is real. So if you let that moment pass, like that's unfair to the other person. Like who doesn't want to hear with all the great things and stuff? Like who doesn't want to hear like all of a sudden like, Mark, dude, I seriously just love you.
Yeah.
Like who doesn't want to hear that? Like if you're having a bad day, maybe you're having a great day, but who doesn't ever want to just hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing, dude. And I mean, I try and, Jimmy, I think he reaches out to 2 people every day or something like that, right? That I float in and out of that, but I also, I don't know, anyone that's in my what circle, I guess you want to call it. I'll, like with Marco Polo, or like with texting, I always try and get back at them real quick. And it's like, because, you send a message, they send you a message, you just kind of stay in this constant contact, and it just feels good, man, to have the support system out there.
I don't do the 2 or 3 thing and stuff. But again, like if I'm just sitting there thinking and I'm just like, oh, I have this awesome memory of this guy and I love this person. I've like literally gone like, because I think in society, especially like our like dad's phase, like you don't tell other men that you think of this stuff. Yeah, I'm unique. I like screw that. No, I'm not. I'm never gonna do that. But like it's not even guys in the group. It's like I'll just have a random thought, random moment, and just be like, again, like don't let that moment pass. Because what if that guy, like, what if you died tomorrow? Like, what if Mark dies tomorrow and I never told him that I think he's like the greatest leader ever? Yeah. Then you're gonna hold that in. Like again, just tell people like that. Like that's where. I don't know, like that stuff actually absolutely brings me joy. Yeah. Is because again, that has been kind of like a learned skill, but something that like, it's like second nature to me. It's like,
well, you're right. Just do it when you think it. It's not hard to do. If you have
an impulse that comes through you, immediately do it. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. It takes 2 seconds. If you don't have the one call, that's fine. Send him a text, Matt's wife, Andrea, like I said, we had a really good moment at your house. And then like literally I just had like this impulsive gratitude towards her and I sent it to her. And then she was at PAL but she didn't see it for a couple of weeks. And then she reached out like, thank you. That made my day. Yeah. And she's like, I didn't see it. And I was going through something that I checked into. I sent her, I didn't have her number. So I sent like an Instagram DM, made her day. Yeah. And again, I was just being authentic of who I am. But like we have all this stuff that's like, oh, I love this person. But why don't you ever tell them that?
Yeah. I don't know why people don't do that. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
What about, so you're married, obviously. How long have you been married for?
So our story is a little different. We got married in 2020. So what is that? Almost coming up in 3 years, but we did everything backwards. So we've been like living together since 2018.
Oh boy, living in sin.
Well, that's the funniest part.
You sinners.
Life's funny. Always growing up, I thought the worst thing you could do was to have a kid out of wedlock. Yeah. So my worst nightmare came true. And ironically, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Now, so is that not a lesson in itself? That no matter what you think it is, like I said, no matter how painful, whatever you do, whatever, like it's going to be worth it. Yeah. So, I met Erica through pickleball, like I said, and then we started dating like 2017. Everybody doesn't know my story. I love my story. She's the only woman that I've ever like had sex with, and just like madly in love with her when we first started dating. We actually broke up the day before we found out she was pregnant in 2017. We were on a California pickleball trip. We decided because things were going bad. Yeah. Like we're like, hey, we're gonna go with things. And here's a funny story. So I'm getting off the airplane, and she laughs at me too. So Erica's the only girl I've ever had sex with, but coming off the plane, I remember like, oh, I am going to have sex with so many girls now. Like Pandora's box has been opened up. Like, It's like, oh, I still have no game, but like, but again, so like she went and she found out she was pregnant. So, what's the very thing to do is I proposed the next day, like to her without a ring or anything like that. And she's like, well, is that going to solve anything? No. So we did like couples counseling for a few months. And like, it was like, I don't know if I would have ever gotten married if Erica didn't get pregnant, because my dating pattern was like for like 6 months. Like I would date somebody for 6 months and then you get into kind of like real life problems. Yeah. Well, this bitch is crazy. I'm perfect. Like you get real life problems. Like, well, it's not the fairy tale, And so that's kind of like where therapy helped us a lot. And then, so then we just started kind of working out. So we moved in together like beginning of 2018. Sahari, our first daughter, was born May 2018. And then we kind of wanted to get married. We had 10-10-20 picked out for a while. And then she's like, well, I don't want to be pregnant for the wedding, and I don't want too big of a gap between kids. So let's try again. So we tried for a month and then got pregnant with twins. And then, we had the twins in 2020. And then, because at this point we had our one of our rental properties, and then we had bought our house in 2018. And we were like, we have 3 kids. We're like, we got to get married. But then the pandemic hits, and then no one could really come to the wedding, because again, like a lot of her family's from Denver. She went to college in North Carolina. A lot of her friends live in North Carolina. No one can travel for the pandemic. So we decided, we're going to get married in 2020 and we're going to just do like the ceremony with like family and friends, no groomsmen, nothing like that. But then we'll do the big celebration 2021. So yeah.
Did you guys do the big celebration?
Yeah, we did.
Nice.
It was fun. And the funny, what?
Where was that?
What is it? Like it's just in Draper, like by Juan Diego. I can't think of the name of like something falls.
Oh yeah.
I should know that, but they were cool too. Cause I'm like, cause we're like, yeah, we don't want, they're like, well, you can do it here and just pay an extra $200 and you can do the one with 30 people here. Like, and just do it as a lunch thing. And then just pay, and then we'll get you a date next year. So it was 10/10/20 is when we officially got married, but we did the massive celebration on 10/9 of 21.
Nice.
And that was like, we called it our vow renewal ceremony.
Nice.
But yeah, so we wanted like the groomsmen and things like that.
Which is funny, man, because you guys have been together for a while. You got 3 kids and you only been married a short time.
Everything backwards. Yeah. Everything that I thought there was a way like, okay, you go to college, you get a job, then you meet the girl, then you get married, then you buy the house, then you have kids. Yeah. Literally none of that happened. There is no clear-cut path to life. And my life right now is better than I ever thought it would dream to be, you know? So like, it's like, yeah, like who cares? Like, yeah. So yeah, we've been together for a while.
So what would your advice be on that? Would you say get married first before you have kids, or I don't
live your life. I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Yeah.
I always thought there was a right or wrong. There's not a right or wrong.
I know. I kind of want to like explain to people too, like there's really no good or evil.
There's not.
You know, I mean, there is some evil things, right? You know, like touching a kid, right? Like there's some real evil shit.
Killing somebody. Yeah.
Right. But like when you start getting like the little things every day, you know, like religion kind of has this thing where like all things are good or evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, not really. Most stuff's real gray. You can kind of go either way. It's kind of up to you. Even with God, right? With, you know, people feel like they, you know, have like direct revelation to them when they pray or whatever, right? To me, it's always like, I don't think so.
No,
I just think you're allowed to live here and do whatever you want
and live it away. Yeah. What if everybody lived this way, this model by life, that life works out better, like, you know it, like no matter where you are in your life works out better than you could have ever imagined it. And where you have to be is it, and you have that faith that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
How much happier would people be? They wouldn't be complaining or playing the victim or however, but you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And no matter what, this is happening for a reason, and it's going to work out in the end. Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 20 years. It's going to work out better than you ever imagined. And if everybody lived like had that belief in their system, I think like, again, all like depression, all that stuff would go away. Yeah. And that's the one lesson I've learned, like just surrender to whatever is happening. I always thought, like I said, I had like high school buddies that would tell me like, you are going to marry the hottest blonde white girl in the world. I did the exact opposite. She's gorgeous. She, like I said, black girl, like I said, but like, I love her more than like you can even imagine. So again, whatever you think, just surrender to what the universe is trying to do to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus, and just enjoy life, right? I mean, you met her because you were playing pickleball.
Pickleball.
It's a passion of yours.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into pickleball? Because you're a really good player.
I was ranked 6th in the world at one point. How I got into it, I love to compete. I've always just loved to compete. And so after the baseball done, with the college days were done, I just was trying to find different things. Like golf has been one. I did like slow pitch softball for one, but like the slow pitch softball community drove me nuts because it was like, again, so I was just trying to find some ways to compete. So I started playing tennis. Like I've played tennis my whole life, but I started kind of playing tennis. So I had a buddy. Do you know Doug Kroll? Mm. So Doug, like for like 9 months, he's like, come play pickleball. I'm like, that stupid game. So like 2016, July 4th, I remember the day he's like, I'll go fine. I'll go play with him. And then it was just like straight addicted to it. Cause again, really good ping pong player, played a lot of ping pong, like always dominated ping pong, and then found it. And then I had a really good friend. Her name was Janessa, and she played tennis at the U. And so I'm like, you got to come try this game. And at that time we were like best friends. And so we just started playing like literally like twice a day, you know? And then that's actually where I met Erica, because then like 4 months later, there was like a league out in Riverton. And in 2016, there was like, because now there's all these courts around. There was only like Riverton and like Dewey and like Woods Cross. There was not a lot of courts. So she found this league and we went and played, and that's where I met Erica. And then, yeah. And then like literally like I don't know if this is the best thing, but at the time, like I wasn't even working because it was like I was just living on savings and didn't want to be part of corporate America. But like, but I was like playing 2 or 3 times, and it was just so fun to compete. And that's the funnest thing about pickleball is like like you can compete, but like pickleball, like I met so many great people through pickleball, including my wife, but like other like really close friends. And then just started like competing, and then didn't lose a lot.
Yeah. Did you meet Max?
Met Max in that same league. And again, like, he's still in my phone as Pickleball God, and we've won a lot of tournaments and stuff like that. And so we are blessed in Utah because there's a ton of good pickleball players here and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, so they started doing like traveling just a little bit and playing like in national tournaments, like playing nationals in 2018 and 19. And 2018, we played the best team in the world and almost beat them and stuff like that. And,
oh, really?
Yeah.
You and Max or?
No, it wasn't me. Max was another guy from California.
Oh, gotcha.
But like, yeah, so we were close, and then the first rankings came out ever, and the ranking system in pickleball is bad. So don't get it twisted.
Oh, stop.
But again, like came out, and I was ranked 6th, and like,
that's cool.
No matter what, I have it on my phone. Was ranked 6th, and
what league was that in?
It was just so it's men's doubles, like competitive as it was. Gotcha. Everybody across the nation, depending on like how you did in tournaments and things like that.
So the PBL Pickleball League.
Yeah.
So they have hired my brother as their like
the PPA.
Or maybe it's a PPA.
Yeah.
We always call it the Pickleball League. They've hired him to be the marketing director.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's been working with them for a while. Wasn't there like a big tournament last weekend?
Yeah. They're pickleball. There's another one here. The landscape of pickleball has changed vastly here, even in those 4 or 5 years. It's actually where I've decided not even to pursue, because now just to keep their cards, they have to play in 26 tournaments a year, which is 26 weekends of the year. Oh yeah, like I said, so those. A lot of them are still my dear friends, and I love them dear. But I chose a different path. I didn't want to be away from the kids that much, and
I'll tell you one thing I do not understand. I do not understand this, and it's freaking baseball dads.
Yeah.
It is every week there's a baseball tournament somewhere, dude. I'm like, it's like I'm in Virginia this week, then I'm in Long Beach, then I'm in Denver, then I'm in Salt Lake, then I'm in Austin, Houston. It's like, dude, this is going to cost you $40,000 a year.
Mark, it's a problem I don't know how to fix. You played football.
Yeah.
I believe that every kid should play sports and play as many sports as you can. You don't specialize in a sport until. How many pro athletes have to say that? Play football, play basketball, play baseball, play golf, do all these things, like whatever. But now, like what they're doing to these kids, like baseball dad, play 10 months of the year. You're never going to practice. You're only going to play games. You're not going to get better. And you're going to travel, and you're going to burn kids out. Yeah. And it doesn't make them better. Like, playing that games doesn't make you better.
It destroys your life.
Yeah.
That's why I'll never do it. That's why my girls aren't in dance. Right. Like, and here's my thing too. If you want to do that and that's your life, go for it. Right. Like if you love it, but I cannot believe the money that is spent on this and the time.
Well, that's the parents, like the parents almost like scare the coaches scared the parents. Yeah. Like if you don't pay this money, your kid's going to get passed up. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Plus the coaches most of the coaches don't learn how to coach because they only have the best players. So like the best players, they just fill out like in baseball, they just fill out a alignment card and go play.
Right.
You don't develop your coaching skills like that.
True.
Again, so yeah, it's kind of, I know it's like in basketball too. I know it's a huge problem in baseball. It's a weird problem to have plus they're like making these kids play like 100 games in a summer. Like, it's like, what are you doing to these guys?
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
It really is. And they're doing that with everything.
Everything.
Basketball, football. Well, I don't know if football's quite hit the year round mark, has it? You know more on that one. Basketball has.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. There's a basketball tournament. Dude, and the thing's funny about that, those are very expensive to put on.
I know.
I don't know if baseball is to actually put the tournaments on.
I think it's expensive. I don't think it's as much as basketball, but yeah.
Oh, basketball, they're renting these massive, what do you call them? Expo centers, and it's expensive.
Well, then the other thing, so baseball dad, quote unquote, baseball dad, they want to see their kids play. So then like they get there and they're like yelling at the coach or yelling at the umpire and like this stuff. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, let the coach. Like, yeah, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. It's just a funny world. So I've got my two older kids are doing athletic training twice a week.
Yeah.
With Jordan Pendleton down at his place.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly, dude, I'm doing that more so that they're athletic.
Yeah.
More than anything. But we miss. You know what I mean? Like if we go to, that's the funny thing with me, right? So I coached football last year and for my 11-year-old, right? And I was the defensive coordinator. The head coach was Phil Stevens. This really good dude in my neighborhood.
Okay.
I'm telling you, dude, being a head coach, bro, in Little League, you should go straight to heaven if there is one.
Oh
like
my gosh.
Bullshit you put up with, and then the freaking hours and hours and hours of practicing and like, game planning and all this kind of stuff. I kept on joking, right? Because the coach is like, I'm a pretty good coach, right? Mostly because the kids love me, right? So then I can bust their balls a little bit, but then they don't get offended. And, like I can kind of, especially because these kids are all 10 and 11, right? So they're all, oh, coach. 3 of them called me dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
awesome though.
Whatever, homie, But like for me, it was fun. It was like playing video games because at that age, until halfway through the season, because some idiot punched a ref or something like that, but we were allowed to be on the field. So I would sit behind these kids, right? And it just cracked me up, dude. Because the other team would go to like line up, and I'd just look at their formation, just like a normal middle linebacker. And I'm like, okay, Jansen, left, blah, blah, B gap, BC, and I just tell them exactly what to do. And then as soon as the kid touches the ball to snap it, you have to be quiet. Yeah. And dude, it was like every time I'm like, I would wait, and then I would just go Mike or Larry, right? And that was middle linebacker and then left linebacker, right? And I would just send them on blitzes all the time. It was like playing video games. It's fun. Yeah. But then, but like it was also easy. But I'm the dad that was like, hey, Phil, we're going to Lake Powell for a week, and he's like, okay, cool. Just pull the kid out, bring him back. I'm not the freaking coach. It's like, if your kid leaves on vacation, you will never start for my team ever again. Dedication. And it's like they're 10 and 11, and this is my life. I already did all this crap, so I'm going to go on vacation. Yeah. Screw yourself. Yep. So I signed my son up again for football, and I don't know if I'm going to coach again, but
I think it's good. Like what you had though is like football, like with coaching and having the 3 boys call you son. Like football is it's secondary. Like football is just like that's the best part about coaching. Like
the coaches knew that too. That's another thing. The coaches that I all coached, they were all dads. Yeah. We all had kids on the team, right?
You're like, of course, like you want to teach them to win, like of course, and stuff like that. But again, like you just want to teach them to get better and improve. And then you're going to teach them life lessons. Yeah. That's where like some of the dads get confused. It's like they like you could care less how many games you win. Like of course you got one to win, but it's not going to ruin your day. Where the other dads like seem they get like justification out of it, or they get Yeah.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing is we won the championship.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's like not really. I mean, I'm not going to take 3% credit I'll take at the most. I mean, it was really all the head football coach, right? Yeah. And the boys, right? The boys they showed up. I actually had Ben speak to him the night before their championship.
I remember you telling us, he said, yeah.
Bro, dude, so Ben kept on hitting me up, man, like during the season. And we didn't know each other as well as we know each other now, right? And he's like, dude, I'd love to come like pump the kids up and blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm like, I knew Ben, but I didn't really know who Ben is. I didn't realize the stature that he has inside the sports world, right? I mean, he is a freaking phenom. Yep. And so when I told the head coach, I said, so I actually had Ryan Bingham speak to him the week before, right? Then I said, hey, my friend Ben, he was on the Olympic wrestling team,
So these 11 and 12-year-old kids, you have a week before Ryan, who played in the NFL, like sacked Peyton Manning, like I said, have him come speak. Then you have like a world famous wrestling guy come speak. I'm like, these 12, I wonder why these 12-year-olds loved you.
Well, I'll tell you, dude, Ben pumped him up, bro. Yeah. My son loves Ben.
What's not to love?
A different level of love for Ben. And it's because Ben just was so kind to him all the time. That's really what it boils down to, I mean, he's fun. He's doing his whole pump up speech. He gets them all going.
And challenging him.
Yeah. He's like, you win today. This is when you win right now. You guys choose to win, blah, blah, blah. And I was loving it, right? Because, Ben's kind of short, right? So he's kind of like in this thing, blah, blah, blah. Well, when Ben shows up, I just keep on saying my friend Ben, right? He shows up. 2 of the coaches are like jaw dropped. Like, Ben Carr? Yeah. Like, how do you know him? I'm like, oh, he's in my major.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They knew exactly. Dude,
that's awesome.
He's really famous. Yeah. I mean, he won a national championship with UVU, right? It's like, and then, a couple of weeks ago, he went down and slapped the shit out of 2 people.
Just dominated.
He won in Greco-Roman. As a 40-year-old, he won a freaking national tournament in Greco-Roman and then a freestyle.
He gave up 1 point.
Yeah, 1 point the whole time.
And hasn't wrestled,
He is a beast.
Yeah.
But then the coolest thing about Ben too, so the next day the game was at like, I don't know, 10 or whatever. He's texting me. He's like, hey man, what time's the game? I was like, it's 10, He's like, I'm going to come. I'm like, oh Ben, you don't need to do that. I mean, freaking sacrifice your Friday night. Now you're sacrificing your, Saturday morning. He brought his boy. And the coolest part about this thing was, dude, is we were down by 1 touchdown. with 57 seconds left. We run two plays and kind of get stuffed a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And the coach is kind of going for it. Dude, and I'm telling you, man, there was one of the kids that calls me dad was next to me. He goes, it's over. Little 10-year-old, right? Oh, it's over. Can't believe this crap, blah, 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 like,
we lost in the championship. We lost in the championship.
Yeah. And I just, without even thinking, bro, I turned to him, I go, game's not over yet, dude. Anything can happen. We're only down a touchdown.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, coach, okay, And I said it to him stern, but I mean, I'm basically got my arm around him kind of thing, I hold their helmets all the time because they're like kind of right there where my hands are. And I'm like, bro, we're not giving up, dude. Until the clocks are zeros, you never give up. Get your freaking head right, dude. This is the thing in your life. You need
Don't even think it.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, okay, coach, blah, 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 blah. And then in my head, I was like, oh shit, this is over. Let's get it. No, I was
don't tell like, fake it till you make it.
Feeling, man, that it's like, no, we could do this. Like, something can happen here. And dude, they literally ran a fake sweep, quarterback keep, 65-yard touchdown. Dude, he literally just like kicks it like that, right? And the whole team just dives. The whole defense just dives towards the outside. And then this little kid just goes sprinting out of the side. You can see me and this other coach just like down the sideline, dude, almost doing cartwheels. We're like, no freaking way.
This is like a little Giants moment.
Oh, absolutely.
So like you're literally 11-year-olds are down 50 seconds. You gave them a speech and all of a sudden you guys run a 65 like fake reverse.
We go up 1 point. It's 21-20.
After Ryan and Ben came and gave him
Dude, we're going crazy, right? We're like, holy crap. But now there's like, I don't know, 40 seconds left or something like that. Dude, we got to run 4 plays.
Yeah.
Right? 4 defensive plays. So I get the kids together, dude, and I'm just like, nothing behind you. Blink if you understand what I'm saying, right? Because they'll just kind of like look up in the sky, these little 10-year-olds. I'm like, everyone look at my eyes, feel this intensity. Stay on your guy. Nothing behind you. The only thing that can happen bad to us is if they score.
Yep.
I don't care if they get 20 yards in a play. Do not let them get past you, okay? And the guys are like, okay, So I'm sitting back and I'm like, this is it, man. We're going to do it or we're not. So I just look at the guys that go like this, which just means all out blitz.
Yeah.
I just sent them 4 times in a row, dude. I'm like, all out blitz. I cannot because, in Little League, it's odd, right?
Yes.
You'll have like some weird hole open like in the middle.
And then just partying the Red Sea.
And then it's just like all the way over because you can't really count on your free safeties to like gobble up everything, right?
Yeah. Don't have the tracking speed down. Don't know the angles.
Yeah. They've like bet on something, and then they're like, there's a gap, 40 yards wide.
Yeah.
And dude, we freaking stuff them and win. And I was just like, I can't freaking believe this, dude. And like, even like at the end of it, we're like over there and we're giving speeches and we're just like, I'm like shoulder pumping everybody and just like shaking their little faces. I love getting their little heads and shaking them. And it was, and Ben comes down with his kid and they're just like, Ben, like all this kind of stuff. And the parents are going crazy. We have championship rings. And it's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was an awesome moment for me and my son. And last year I was so crazy busy. We had We Are the They, all the companies I'm involved with. I'm coaching football.
Yep.
I was like, tons of travel. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can, this is like a heavy pace. But it was all worth it because I got to go to practice every day.
But it sounds like that was one of your favorite moments.
Oh, dude, hell yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, so we gave a speech, I gave a speech to these kids. I don't know. It was a while later. We were trying to wait for the rings to come, but they're coming from China. I think it was like 4 weeks later, right? Because we finally were like, hey, we got to do the banquet. And the coaches all get up and give these speeches. They're all great, just like connecting with the kids. And I get up and I'm like, hey guys, you need to really understand the gravity of what happened.
Yeah.
You just won a championship. You're all champions,
yep.
right? I know it's a young age, but like you may never get another championship in football ever. Like you need to understand what this is all about. And I said, guys, football is not the most important thing. This better not be the best moment of your life. Yep. It can't be right now, but you guys need to be good men. That is what's going to make you happy in life. Okay. And next year you're going to have to work harder and harder and harder because now guys are going to come for you, right? And then when you guys get into high school, you're going to have to try out and make the teams. You guys have to work really, really hard, but you need to enjoy this moment. This is like a life lesson. Really enjoy this, guys, and enjoy it for like the next month. Maybe even until the season starts, but then don't ever forget the most important thing is you guys need to be good men. Mm-hmm. And, everyone claps and whatever, right? Because you just clap at everything, right? But I just remember like talking to my son about that a lot, and I'm just like, hey man, like this is really cool. I want you to understand how cool this is,
I think everybody's got to do a better job of that.
Yeah.
Celebrate the moments, no matter big or small.
Yeah.
Like that is a huge moment. Are you kidding? It's a huge moment for you. But again, yeah, celebrate the moments. Hell yes. Yeah. We don't do that enough.
Yeah.
And like, don't rest on your laurels, I guess is a way to put it. But yeah, celebrate the moments. Yeah. Like again, with how busy you are, everybody should know how busy you are and stuff like that was a huge moment for you too. But again, like not even for the football, but like that you came close with the kids, Ben came, and then you had that awesome moment with your son. Yeah. That's another one that's like, celebrate that moment.
Yeah, it was a great moment for me.
Yeah.
And the pictures we have and just it's really good for guys to actually, learn real winning early in life.
Yes.
So they know what that feels like.
Yeah, because it's different.
It's really hard to always not win, and then have the, next year kids, blah, 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 blah. And it almost sucks that it came so early for them, right? Because they're like 10.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish this would have came when you guys were like 14. Like had a couple losing seasons, then win and then see what happens after that.
No, but it's a good thing. Like teaching to win, like some kids never know how to win.
Yeah.
And then like, again, that's where like, no, not everybody wins.
Yeah.
Like not everybody gets a trophy. I know that's not popular today. Like it's awesome to be competitive, but not everybody wins. That's
I made my kids throw away so many trophies.
That's what I'm saying. Like not everybody wins, but yeah. I think it's a good thing that they won at 10, 11 because they didn't learn how to win.
Yeah. Well, and you know this, right? You're not one of the few. There's some people that know this, right? But like, there's a difference between winning and dominating the shit out of somebody.
Yes.
And I wish people could understand that too, right? Because when you're on the football team, right? Like it's like one of those things where you win, you have these close games and you win, you have a couple games that you lose. Like my senior year, we dominated every team we played, every single team. And then we lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Did you really?
Oh, bro. Talk about a freaking meltdown.
Yeah.
Dude, we were averaging like 37 points a game. And I don't think anyone had scored more than a touchdown against us. And then we lost by like a touchdown or two. We were down by 2 touchdowns at half. It was pandemonium. Every one of my friends from high school right now is listening to this fast forwarding because they don't want to relive this moment. Yeah. It was wild, bro. We lost to Cypress High School. I couldn't even tell you where Cypress was. We were Lone Peak.
Yeah.
We were Lone Peak High School. So we were kind of the ones that set the standard.
At home probably too.
No, we were on the, oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was at home. Yeah. I was about to say no, then I'm like, oh, actually, yes, it was at home. Yeah. Oh, I remember, dude, it was, I don't know, we can go on and on about that. It was wild. It was an amazing life lesson though, right?
It is.
When you lose when you're supposed to win, not only were we supposed to win, we were supposed to kick the shit out of them. They were the play-in 5th seed.
Yeah.
And we were by far and away, we were picked to win the entire state that year. And one moment, poof, but
sports are brutal.
Sports.
But again, everybody's trying to win.
Yeah.
That's the other hard part.
Well,
like
sports don't lie. You either win or you don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then, but Cypress won. You guys didn't win. Yep. You guys don't get a participation trophy.
Nope. And I would have chucked that thing in the freaking moon, dude, if I would have got a participation trophy. Yeah. Even second place sucks.
Yeah.
You're the first loser.
I've always because I'm probably one of the most competitive people alive. I've come to the conclusion I hate losing more than I like winning.
Yeah.
Like when you win, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. When you lose, it just like gets it. You're like, you want to grit your teeth.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Like I said, you don't remember the wins, you remember that loss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can barely remember the wins. I mean, I started all 3 years in school, right? Or in high school. And so
you played line, right?
Yeah. I played center.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we, dude, I don't think I played a fourth quarter.
Yeah. Cause you're out. Yeah.
We were up by 4 touchdowns half the time. And I think one game we scored almost 70 points. And by that time, dude, I remember that game. Let's just say 60 for accuracy, because I can't really remember. Yeah. But we blanked them. It was Springville High School. We blanked them, and then we just freaking. I mean, we had our 3rd string quarterback in running nothing but option, bro, for like, I don't know, 2 quarters. He scored 3 times. It's just like our defense was amazing, though.
That's crazy. I coached high school sports for 9 years.
I did know.
Like I said, like that's kind of. But this is kind of the stuff that we worked on,
Hey, actually, do you know who Sam Burgess is? Mm-hmm. So Sam Burgess was a quarterback on the last 2 teams I played on because he was a junior when I was a senior.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of the quality of dudes we had. 4 of the guys went to the NFL. You
were saying that.
Bananas, dude. That's freaking bananas. So
it's funny though, like how those the losses stick with you. Yeah. But again, like that's the beauty of what sports teaches you.
Yeah.
Like that's where. Again, like, cause all this, like, but again, like the day and age, like, yeah, it sucks to lose and stuff. Like, but that's team sports, especially in your youth, like teach you so many life lessons.
Yeah.
You know, and again,
Sports
like
are the best.
Sports are the best. Like a lot of it still, they're so engraved in me and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, we're like in an hour and 40 minutes.
Are we really?
Yeah. So you got to give me your best 2 minutes of advice, dude. I want Jake Waldram's greatest advice. Ready to go.
Life works out. Life works out. No matter what you think you're going through. If you think you're going through something, reach out to somebody else and then try to not worry about yourself, worry about someone else's problems. Everybody's going through something. You can be a light for somebody else, because no matter what you're going through, there's somebody in the world going through something worse. You know, have the faith that life works out for you. It's going to work out for you. Like, no matter what you're going through, you don't know if it's good or bad. Assume that it's going to be good, and just have that faith. And then, like, literally just cherish the people, cherish the relationships that you have in this life. Because again, like, whether it's 2 people, whether it's 20, like, I'm blessed to have but cherish those relationships. Because anybody at the end of their life, that's what they crave. They cherish the relationship with their kids, with their parents, with their spouse, with their, whatever, like with their friends. Like, cherish those relationships and tell the people that you love them, and tell them like they do that. And like, again, if you start doing that, I think people will start finding happiness more, because all of a sudden it takes you out of your own head and being this victim and all this stuff. And again, it actually is connecting with people. Because again, life is about the impression that you leave on others. And once you start doing that and you start connecting with people and like stuff like that, like, again, all the problems that the story, your alibi that you keep telling yourself in your head, that stuff will kind of evaporate and go away.
Yeah. Well, thanks, dude.
I can't believe we're an hour and 40 yet.
It's easy, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks for coming on.
How did I do?
You did awesome, bro.
How did we do?
We did awesome. I think so. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many reviews I get.
Yeah. Leave a review for Mark. Mark brings a different...
Subscribe and review to my channel.
Mark brings a different energy to it.
Well, Jake, dude, I love you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on, dude.
Mark, I do love you. Like I said, follow Mark, because again, I've said this a lot of times. Mark is a natural born leader. I've told you this. Like, that is a leader. Like, that is a quality that, again, you've definitely perfected work done, but you were a natural born leader. I think, again, the point of your podcast is to kind of show off some of that stuff and that stuff with your energy. I think you're just like, I think it's really cool that we've become like dear friends. Yeah. And I just love you to death. And I just think the world of you, and you're just a phenomenal leader. And it's easy to see why people gravitate you to. It's like, it's obvious, and it's so fun to watch. So I love you, bud.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the President McCormack Podcast, brought to you by McCormack Foundation, Saxton Fund, ADP Lemco, and Professional Floor Systems. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and keep up with Mark on Instagram @President McCormack.